that y'all are well. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, come on in. Happy Tuesday. Get this water, child. Let me send this out. And put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. And also let me know where you're watching from. Okay. Let me know where you're watching from. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hi there. Where are you watching from today? Let me make sure my stuff on my note. Okay. Come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Hey, love. Hi, Georgia. Today we're talking about when the hustle doesn't feel worth it anymore and how to keep growing without grinding yourself down, okay? So we're going to talk about that today. This light might be a little too bright for me, child. Ooh. There we go. So we're going to be talking about that today. So it's going to be a good one because a lot of women are grinding themselves into the ground. And a lot of women are struggling in the space of, I don't want to use the word struggling, but a lot of women have realized, like, once you make money, it's like, okay, I don't even care about this anymore. And a lot of women are not focused on that. They want freedom. They want, intimacy. They want all these other different things. And so we're going to talk about today how to still grow without having to put those things on the back burner or to, grind yourself so much into the ground that you have nothing else to give for anyone else, because you don't have to live like that, right? So this is my second business. My first business, child, you're talking about running into the ground. I was a bridal makeup artist when I first started my first business. Hi, Joseph. And I was exhausting myself, running myself into the ground. I was working a full-time job at the time, and I had the bridal business. I was working for MAC Cosmetics. So it was just like a whole lot going on. And I was not doing well. I was being grinded in the ground. I could barely get home just to sleep. Like, everything was just being impacted by that. And so I had to scrap that because that wasn't working. And it was making me sick. I was like 100 pounds heavier. It was like real insane. It was a very insane time in my life where I just allowed myself to just, as I always tell women, it's very important not to let yourself go. It's really important not to let yourself go. There's nothing sacred about it, about letting yourself go. It's really, really important to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So we're going to talk about it today, okay? For those who don't know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I am an energetics and identity mentor, and what I do specifically is that I mentor visionary women to dissolve invisible ceilings, things that you like to call blocks, or things that you like to call curses, or things that you like to call all those things. I support you in unraveling those things, okay? So we dissolve the invisible ceilings and embody emotional and energetic authority in order for their leadership, their relationships, and their wealth to reflect their true design. The reason why a lot of women are burnt out in the current experiences that they have going on is because these experiences a lot of times don't align. If you stay in misaligned spaces too long, it throws you out of balance. When you stay in misaligned spaces for too long, it throws you out of balance. This is why after certain periods of time of people being in certain relationships, they start to get sick. This is why in certain scenarios, people may spend so much time at this job that's stressing them out, and then they end up getting sick. So being in misaligned spaces really throws you out of balance spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and then eventually it's going to manifest physically. Everything that is happening in your world right now is a manifestation of the things that have happened in your spiritual reality. And if you're disconnected from your spiritual core, it's a little hard to keep your head in the real world, or what you believe to be the real world, the material world. And I have helped countless women, coaches, leaders, feminine leaders, founders. I've helped them get rid of all these ceilings, dissolve these ceilings by restoring their nervous systems, as well as clarifying their identities, and reclaiming their emotional and spiritual rhythm. Because when you understand these things and you understand yourself, then you know how to operate. A lot of women don't understand how to operate because they don't really understand their formula. Hey, VZ, what's going on? They don't really understand their formula. Okay? And so I'm going to get into that today, because what you'll learn and what's the trick and the gimmick behind the hustle that a lot of women don't realize is that the hustle by definition means to swindle. One definition of hustle means to swindle. Do you understand to swindle means to steal? Do you know what the hustle steals from you? It steals time, which is one of your most sacred currencies as a woman. It steals your energy, which is another sacred currency of a woman. It steals your attention, which is another, sacred currency of a woman. And then they pay you cheaply, so they steal money from you too, which is another currency that a woman is. And all of those things, when they wreak havoc on your time, on your energy, on your attention, and on your money, is going to impact your beauty as well. So when you hear these conversations about women being in spaces or getting into relationships and even experiences, and towards the end they look completely different, yeah, that's what tends to happen when you don't know your identity. You don't protect your currencies. You don't protect your time. You don't protect your energy. You don't protect your attention. You don't protect your money. And you freely give it away. And guess what? People drain you, and it impacts your beauty, which is another high-level currency of women. So it's one of those things. And I heard this woman, there's a coach. Hi, Lovey. There's a coach. Her name is, it's Kyla, not Kayla. Okay? And she talks about how your femininity and your beauty is literally protection. When people see you as fragile, when people see you as like, this prize, and they just look at you because you radiate beauty, and it's not even about how you adorn yourself. Like, that's just the extra added. But it's just the energy that you bring and that you give. People want to protect that. Hi, Lovey. People want to protect that. Spoke on this on my live, A Woman's Time. Yes, it's such a valuable asset. Such a valuable asset, and I think that women really miss that. So when you don't guard your heart above everything else, and when the scripture is telling you to guard your heart above everything else, it's speaking of you guarding your time, guarding your energy, because your emotions are energy and motion. So guarding your time, guarding your energy, guarding your attention. Hi, Lovey. Guarding, your money, guarding your beauty. All of these things are extremely important, extremely important. And the hustle steals these things from you, because the hustle is a swindler. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes and these comments. By definition, to hustle is to swindle. So to hustle is to swindle yourself out of time, energy, attention, and money. I don't care if they saying they paying you overtime, they still not paying you more. They still not paying you enough. They still not paying you the value in which you're actually losing. And this happens when you are not innately connected to your identity. When you're not connected to your spiritual core, and you don't understand your identity, you don't protect these elements because you don't see these elements as vital. Meanwhile, these vital elements make up your quality of life experience. How you steward your time, how you manage your emotions, right? Your energy. How you focus and where you focus your attention. What you do with your money. How you maintain and sustain your beauty. If beauty was not a currency, why was it required for the women who were going to be, picked during the time frame when that was going on? Why was it a requirement that these women would go through a year of beauty treatments if beauty was not currency? And I write about this on my Substack. If beauty was not currency, why would there be such an investment that required a year's time to prepare? You are to be a steward of your beauty, just like you are to be a steward of your time. You are to manage your energy, and you are to pay attention to where you focus your attention. Because these things are very important and very vital. And when you're in hustle mode, or when you are in a state, and let me define too what hustle mode is. My hustle mode is not, I'm not talking about somebody who has 3 jobs and who's doing it and doing that. I'm not talking about that. That's like the lower level of hustle mode. That's you haven't broken from you can't make more money spell. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the hustle where you don't know how to manage your time. You don't know how to steward your time. And what I mean by that is you're too busy being everything for everyone. You're too busy trying to do everything and hold up this identity. See, the reason why you're doing all this extra and all of these things, hey, beautiful, all these things, it's because you're trying to keep in alignment with an identity that doesn't belong to you. People who are truly are being themselves are going to be walking truth, and either you resonate with that walking truth or you don't resonate with that walking truth. Either way it goes is not going to impact the walking truth. Okay? Nobody is here to force you. That's what society does to you. Society tries to force you to take their ideals and different things like that. Nobody is here to do that in this experience. Nobody else can do that unless you allow them to. So you have to understand that you have to be the keeper of your time, the keeper of your energy, the keeper of your attention, the keeper of your money, and the elevator of your beauty. That is your responsibility. Okay? So we're going to talk about basically how, again, when the hustle doesn't feel worth it anymore, and how to keep growing without grinding yourself into the ground is what we're getting into today. Okay? So a lot of people get into this mind space of, you know, I've built what I said that I wanted, the business, the clients, the income, you know, and this is a lot of women. But if they're being honest with themselves, it doesn't feel like freedom. A lot of you have taken the cage from being in a 9 to 5 to building a prison for yourself and your business. I hear women talk all the time about how free they feel in their business because they're able to just create. But then I also hear them speak on how they just, they're always working all of the time. That doesn't sound like freedom. Your assignment was not to come here and to be working all of the time, to exhaust yourself. You literally have taken the cage from 9 to 5 and made your business and literally put your business on the inside of that cage, and now it's a prison. Now it's a prison. Because you never changed the mindset. You never left from you didn't leave the spell of being a worker bee at the 9 to 5 institution. You brought it into your business, and now you are completely exhausted and you don't feel free. It feels like a treadmill that you're on. Hi, Lovey. It feels like a treadmill that you're on. You may hit a goal and you be like, oh, okay, great. But the high fades in a couple of days, or you're already chasing the next one. See, this is why people pleasing doesn't work. I want you to see this in your own life for the people pleasers in the room. How are you trying to please people when you are never pleased? As soon as you do one thing, you already got your mind on the next thing you finna do. You don't know, you don't understand, and you have not digested or accepted the concept of rest for yourself. But yet you are out here trying to please someone else, hoping that they are going to be satiated by every single way. That you turn around and shapeshift into something or someone that tries to meet a need that truthfully you can't meet, and they still are not satisfied. Pay attention to the patterns within yourself, and it'll start to explain to you. It'll start to reveal to you the things that you are doing and why other people are so repelled by you. The very thing that you desire is repelled by you. It's because you try to hold it so tight. But how you do one thing is how you do all things. You're not just doing that in relationships, you're doing that in life. Thank you, my love. Okay? So here's the thing. Because you're chasing the next thing, the hustle, and hustle by definition again means to swindle, and to swindle means to steal. What does it steal from you? It steals your time, your energy, your attention, and your money from you. And all of those things, when you lack time, energy, attention, and money, it begins to impact your beauty, which is why you see women walking around here and they look gray after being in misaligned spaces for too long. Because when you are in misaligned spaces for too long, you begin to get drained. And it shows. It shows. Okay? So, if you're wondering what gets people in this place of being exhausted and being drained? It's the hustle. It's not just the hustle when it comes down to money, it's the hustle when it comes down to everything that you have going on in your life. Everything is a rush. You have to go help this person. You have to go do this. You have to go do that. You have to go do this. But secretly at night, you sit in the closet trying to figure out if someone is ever going to see you, hear you, or pay attention to you. But the truth of the matter is that people are not going to see you, hear you, or pay attention to you because you do not make it a priority to pay attention to yourself. Because if you did and you understood self, you would not hustle, because women are not created to work like men. Men are not even supposed to hustle, because the hustle again steals. The hustle steals. The hustle will get you in this space here of being drained and feeling destitute and feeling all of these things. And the one thing is that it's always going to keep you stuck as well. And so lately, if you have been wondering, what I'm doing, what I'm participating in, this relationship, this business, this, all of this, is it really worth it? If you've been asking yourself that, it's because you were never meant to literally live a life, okay, at a pace that you couldn't sustain. And the sustain is not, how can I say this? The hustle is not sustainable. Can I share something with you, DM, for topic of the life? Absolutely. Absolutely, please do. Okay? So let's get into the space of how we got here, right? Let's get into the space of how we got here. Let's talk about the shadow, which is basically pressure-based growth. Now, you've been trained to be a performer all of your life. You went to school, and if you didn't get good grades, you weren't considered a good performer, and all these different type of things. And you went to college, and it was performance-based because you had to take the SAT or the ACT. So that was performance-based, and I was supposed to judge your levels and the things that you actually know. But we all know that those are skewed and yada, yada, yada. How lovely. And then you went from college into the corporate system, and when you went into the corporate system, they made you compete for a spot or spots that seemed to be very small, right? Thank you, my love. And so when you went to go compete with them spots, you began to learn how to fortify your ego and make it your personality, because you had to go through a process of humiliation. Because to me, when you go into interview for corporate positionings, it is a process of humiliation to me. The reason why I say that is because people, when you go into that space, most people are going in with the intention to prove that they're the best candidate, to impress the individual or the corporation or company, or to defend themselves against anything that may come up. And anytime you are trying to prove, impress, and defend, you are coming from your ego. And anytime you are coming from your ego, you are, like Deepak Chopra said, you are edging God out. So if you are edging God out of this experience by not being your authentic self, by not operating from truth, and you get this position under false pretenses, and anything you attract under false pretenses, you're not going to be able to keep, and you're not going to be able to sustain. 6 months down the line, you're trying to figure out why you're having a breakdown and how much you hate this job, even though you were so excited to come in on the front end. These are things that you really have to think about. You've been trained to be a performer. You've been trained to not be yourself. But we have entered into a space now where being yourself is what gets you paid. Being in alignment with your authentic self and speaking truth that resonates, and you packaging your gift into a product or service that solves a real problem or creates transformation in someone's life, can literally, in this day and age, make you a multimillionaire if you literally know how to follow the path, to stay operating from a state of elevated character, because that's the way you're going to be able to sustain these things. We live in a society where you can do all of that. But yet, some of you continue to go through a process of humiliation where you have to operate in a space to where you disconnect from your spiritual core in order to prove that you're a person that's necessary for this experience, when in reality, you have your own lane. That literally happened to me, but I lost a job since I didn't pass the Series 7. Thank you for your honesty. And this is the type of thing that I speak about all the time. People don't understand that. When you have to go into something and pretend to be something other than yourself to be able to obtain something or to manifest something, you're not going to be able to sustain that thing because you did it from a dark space, whether you realize it or not. And it literally tells you that in scripture, you cannot obtain something with evil intention and think that you're going to be able to keep it. You're going to lose that. It's in Proverbs. Everything I give you is rooted in scripture, backed up by science and backed up by psychology. Because and the reason why I love my business being like that is because I want you to go and look these things up for yourself. You don't have to listen to nothing I tell you. On me, you ain't got to listen to nothing I'm telling you. Hi, lovey. And I mean nothing at all. But one thing for sure, two things for certain. I'm going to make you think. Oh, my lash, sorry. I'm going to make you think. Hi from Canada. I love Canada, especially Toronto and Niagara. I'm going to make you think. I'm going to make you question. And you're going to go research and look for yourself. And guess what? You're responsible for what you know. So either you're going to make decisions that are going to put you in a better position and position you forward, or you're going to stay where you are and keep lacking progression. And a lack of progression, and I'm going to tell you something. Hear me when I say this. Pay attention to the pattern between a lack of progression and depression. I'm going to say that again. Pay attention to the pattern between a lack of progression and depression. You ever meet people and all they do is talk about their former years or this one period of time in their life? You understand what I'm saying? Let's say they're talking about their high school years, or they're talking about, all these other things that went on during that time frame because they're stuck there, because their life, their present life is so depressing. That's where they stuck. Lack of forward progression. There's a heavy connection to depression. And I want you to really pay attention to that. Okay? And all of it comes from it comes from a multitude of things. But the thing I'm focused on is the pressure-based growth that a lot of us have experienced, that we've taken into our business, that we've taken into our lives as CEOs and VPs of companies and all these things. And now we're realizing that it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yep, my friend told me he's stuck in the past. He may be going through a depression. I keep saying this. I think I'm going to do it. He misses the old him, my heart. I'm going to do a video, Lovey, but I'm going to do it on YouTube about time traveling. And it's going to sound crazy at first, but when you listen to everything, if you listen to the video in its entirety, I will be able to show you how to come out of that. Because we literally are time travelers. And it's a whole thing. And I'm telling you, and I've ran this theory through with my clients. I've ran this through with people I work with, and it hits every single time. It doesn't miss. When you understand time travel, you will learn how to slow down time. You will learn how to bend time. You will learn how to steward time. Time is not to be managed. There's nowhere in scripture that tells you to manage time. Time is something you steward, but you can't steward something that you do not understand. And time is one of your highest level sacred currencies. You must understand what is within you, or you will take it for granted. When you don't understand that time is a part of you, when you don't understand that energy is you, when you don't understand attention is you, when you don't understand money is you, you begin to put these things, or not properly steward these things, or even put these things on a pedestal. That's not what that's for. That's not what that's for. It's a lot of programming and a lot of pressure, but we're going to talk about that. So let's talk about what pressure-based growth looks like when it comes down to business, intimacy, income, and in life in general. In business, it looks like you having more strategy, more launches, more content, more offers, more, doing more. These are your people who always feel like they got to keep up with the algorithm. These are your people who always feel like they have to post every time you turn around, or people are going to forget who they are. When the reality is, when you are spiritually rooted, you understand that you are submitted spiritually to the almighty algorithm. So it doesn't really, the ultimate algorithm. What is an algorithm to the one who created everything? Content is very much so more potent, more authentic, people in magnetizing when it is coming from a pure place, not from you just trying to get paid. That's not the way that works. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Money lie, men lie, women lie, numbers can be crunched, data can be skewed. Okay? But your energetics will always tell the truth, and it's going to always tell the truth on you. You understand? And a lot of you think that you're coming online and you really are selling this product to this person, and you're really doing this and you're really doing that. But here's the thing that you are not understanding is that people can feel your desperation, and when you're trying to buy them get them to buy into something, and it's the energy not right. People know. It's the same energy you get when somebody adds you as a friend and then immediately they don't say hello. They try to invite you to an event, or they turn around and try to inbox you a sale to get you to buy something from them. You can tell the energy is desperate. You can tell there was no genuine connection. You can tell they were trying to attach themselves to what they feel that you may have. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes and these comments. That's what you have to understand. So when you are creating content, what I need you to understand is that people can feel that off your content. They can feel that off your content. Thank you, love. All praise to the Most High. They can feel that from you. So you may think that you're fooling somebody with all putting this stuff out, doing this and doing that. When you are putting something out like that, you keep putting stuff out just trying to see what's going to hit. It's like throwing a ball against the wall. No purpose, no nothing. When you continue to put things out like that, it's the equivalent to you having a conversation with the person and them saying, hey, would you like to buy some water? And you say, you know what, I'm thirsty. I would like some water. And all of a sudden they start going, well, you know what, this is the best water in the world. And they got it from this. And this is why you should buy the water. And da-da-da-da-da-da. And Ozark of this and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Would you trust them? Would you trust them? You already said you would buy the water. You already were intrigued. You are already interested in possibly buying the water. But then they started talking. And it started making you nervous because they almost started over talking. This is the exact same thing when you're constantly putting out product after product after product. Buy this, buy that. 1 minute you do this, the next minute you do that. You look unstable. But that's the pressure. That's the pressure. Agree, building meaningful relationships matters more than networking for opportunities, period. Because here's the thing that people don't understand is that relationships, and I've said this before, and I have a class on this where I taught on this, relationships and revenue, because the real riches are in relationships. The real riches are in your connections, not your attachments, which is why it tells you another reason why. It tells you in scripture you're not supposed to be attached to the things of this world. You are here to build connections. You are not here to be attached. See, anytime that there is some form of attachment, there's an element of force. And I don't think people understand that. So yes, little Miss Anxious Attachment Style, there's an element of force within you. You're trying to force someone to answer you in a specific time frame. You're trying to force someone to text you back because you sent a paragraph. You're trying to force someone to understand where you're coming from. Yes, you are forcing. These things are not of the one that created you. And this is coming from someone who used to be anxiously attached. Same thing with the avoidance. Same thing with the disorganized. All same thing. The attachments have some form of force involved or faux control involved. And it's a danger to you more than you realize, okay? So in business, when you keep trying to put stuff out, you're trying to over-explain, like, we're not buying what you're selling, period. What does pressure-based growth look like when it comes down to intimacy? It looks like your partner getting the leftovers of your energy or the people you love. And when I say intimacy, it doesn't necessarily mean a romantic relationship. It could be your family. A lot of you hustle so much and hustle so hard when it comes down to getting money so you can take care of your family that you don't realize how disconnected you are from your family. You look up and you realize you don't know your children. You look up and you realize you don't know your siblings. You look up and you realize you don't know the people that you felt like you were in close connection with at some point in time, because you're so much in hustle mode trying to get everything done that you struggle with being in the present. You struggle with being in the present. Okay? And that's a really, really big deal. Women really struggle, a lot of women struggle to be in the present because they don't like their current reality. And women who keep trying to avoid the present, okay, are the women who don't realize that they have the power to create a brand new reality. That's the thing. You have the power at any time to change your reality, but you have to make different decisions. And like I always say, women don't like making decisions because a lot of women fear finality. They fear finality instead of accepting it and eating it for breakfast and understanding that it's a part of every single reality. Women fear it. But again, women fear it because they don't understand time travel. I'm finna just go ahead and get y'all, and I've said this before, but I'm gonna give you a snippet of the time travel so you can understand where I'm coming from. Listen closely because I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to take no questions on it because I'm going to create a video fully explaining it, and you can find it on my YouTube, and I may even write about it on Substack. So if you want to understand more about time, I do have some articles on time on Substack, and I'm eventually going to record this video. So first things first, you are a time traveler. I'm a time traveler. We time travel every single day. Okay? Hear me, because I'm only going to say this once. So understand that you are a time traveler and you are also a time machine. Okay? Within you, you carry the present, you carry the past, and you carry the future. Follow what I'm saying? Time machine you are, time traveler you are. When we're talking about traveling, let's just say you enjoy or you spend a lot of your time every single day traveling to the past. Okay? Let's just say that's what you do. When you go to the past to travel and you spend too much time in the past, right? What ends up happening is that you get stuck there. And you spend so much time there that you're not in the present because you're so caught up in the memories of what you think you had in the past. So you sit and you feel like a failure in the present, which is where you have the most control, which I'll come back to explain that in a moment. So that increases you being depressed because you won't deal with your current reality in the present. The only reason you should be traveling to the past, hear me when I say this, the only reason you should be traveling to the past ever is to pick up reoccurring patterns that are disrupting your present, that are going to impact your future in a way that can be detrimental to you. That's number one. You should only be going back to the past to collect those reoccurring patterns that are causing you those toxic time loops that you keep going through over and over again. You know, have meeting the same spirit in different bodies. Yeah, same thing. When you're doing that, you're in a time loop. You keep attracting the same type of man, but in a different body. You're stuck in a toxic time loop. Okay? So your responsibility is to pick up the reoccurring patterns that prevent you from having the future that you know that you deserve, that you know that is in alignment with you, and all of these things. So you pick up the reoccurring patterns. Here's the second thing that you're going to pick up from the past, and the only thing, and the only reason you should be traveling to the past. You're going to pick up memories, because those memories are going to serve as fuel for your present. These are memories possibly of people who may have left this world, but who have given you gems and given you things that, you know, you need, that keep you, that carry you, those core memories. Because here's the reality. Finality is a truth in every reality. In every reality, something is dying and something is being born. So if you're going to travel to the past, what you need to do is pick up those memories and those fuels from your grandma, from your mama, from your best friend, from your sister, whoever, from your cousin, whoever the individuals were that would always put the batteries in your back when you weren't able to do it. That is what you bring to you to the present. Do you understand? You bring the reoccurring patterns that's causing you to have toxic time loops of repeating the same thing over and over again. And you bring back memories so that they can fuel you. Okay? I'll put it in the chat for you, Faith, in our community. That's the only reason you should be traveling to the past. If you spend too much time in the past, you are going to be depressed and you are going to be stuck there. And you are going to lose control of your future. Now, let's depression the past, okay? Let's talk about traveling to the future now. If you spend too much time traveling to the future, you will think that two things. You will think that you are a fortune teller and you will increase your anxiety. You will consistently live in an anxious state. You will think that that is normal to the point to where it will literally cripple your body from the inside out. And I'm not even kidding around. Go look at what anxiety causes when it comes down to autoimmune disease. Go and look at these things. One of my modalities is that I'm an energetic psychology practitioner, so I can tell you what your emotions do to your organs. The body keeps score, right? Oh yes, it does. So when you spend too much time in the future trying to guesstimate what's going to happen and as if it is a reality, you make yourself more anxious and you spend so much time there that you do not focus in the one key space where you can change everything, which is the present. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this, but I do a visualization with my clients where we travel to one element of the future within self. But I only take them to a certain space, because you don't need to be worried about 5 years from now. You don't need to be worried about 10 years from now. You need to see yourself a year from now. And when you lock eyes with yourself through the visualization that I walk you through, when you are my client, when you see yourself in that visualization, you are now responsible for what you see. So either you are going to align all of your actions, all of your thoughts, all of your energy towards becoming what you saw, or you're going to choose to stay where you are. But if you want to control your future, if you want to have an elevated future, if you want to have a better future, if you want to have the best for yourself, the best thing that you can do is stay in the present, because that is what you can control. What's next right now? What's next now? What's next in a few minutes? What's happening right now? This is what you can control, and what you can control is self. And if you are always in control of self, which is a fruit of the spirit, then guess what? You will always be in control of your environment. You will always be in control of your experiences. You will always magnetize and attract the things that are literally in alignment with you. And the vision that you have for your life will come to pass because you are active in the present. You have the memories from the future, from the past, that you are using as fuel. You understand your reoccurring patterns so you can protect your future by progressing right now and making different decisions right now. So if you want to truly elevate your future and change your life, stay in the present. Stay in the present, because that version of you is the one who has the most control in the scenario. So understand again, like I said, you are a walking time machine. You are walking time travelers, and every single day you time travel. You need to ask yourself, where do you spend the majority of your time? And is wherever you are spending the majority of your time pushing you towards where you are trying to go? Like I said, I'm going to do a YouTube video where I'm break it all the way down with time traveling. But yeah, you're a time traveler. And a lot of you are anxious and depressed because you're in the wrong timelines. And you don't even belong there. And you're in spiritual violation by staying in those timelines, because it tells you in Scripture, everything I teach you comes from Scripture, is rooted in Scripture, is backed up by science and backed up by psychology. It literally tells you in Scripture for you not to be doing those things, not to be exhausting yourself in oblivion and mismanaging time. The Scripture lets you know in Ecclesiastes that there's a time for everything. What do you mean you don't have time for nothing? Because you don't know how to bend time. You want to know how to bend time? You want to know how to slow down time? Be in the present. You don't believe me? Ever been in a fight before? I used to be a fighter back in the day, okay? And when you are in a fight and you're fighting for 1 minute, that's a very long time. Do you understand? Time slows down. You ever been in a really bad accident and you got hit? Time slows down. Do you understand? Because you are present in that moment. Time slows down. You can bend time. But you can't do that because you don't understand time. You still think time is chronological. You don't understand the entire construct. Which is why you mismanage it. You don't properly steward it. You mismanage it because you think you have to manage it when you need to steward it. You can't steward it because you don't understand the difference that there are two elements of time. There is chronos time and there is kairos time. And you don't understand that. So you just focus on chronos time. You keep missing it. Paying attention to the wrong programming. Again, attention is currency. It's the highest form of currency in society, which is why they manipulate you the way they do. Because the more they have your attention, the more they can manipulate your energy and motion, i.e. your emotions. This is why you cry when you see movies, because they manipulate your emotions the longer that you watch the show. You're welcome, love you. All praises to the Most High. So understand, baby, there's always things at work. But when you understand that you are a spirit being having a human experience and you understand your identity, you know how to manipulate energy. You know how to create your reality. This is manipulating energy right here. To change your reality and to create a brand new reality is to manipulate your own energy. In order to manipulate that, you have to understand it. The reason why you are manipulated by other people, why you are consistently emotionally manipulated, which is energy and emotion, by other people, is because you don't understand your own energy and emotion enough to protect it, and people see that. Your lack of protection sends off a scent to the narcissistic spirit, and you allow an access portal because you don't understand yourself. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Told y'all demons need an access point. They need a host. They need a friend to talk to. And you just right there. Good girl. I just did a video on being a good girl and how it never gets you anywhere. And it's not even scriptural. Go check that out. It's on my page. I just posted it today because I'm tired of the lies. Pressure-based growth, when it comes down to your income, is revenue that's tied directly to your constant output, meaning that you always have to create something or do something to make money. Let me tell you something. We live in the era now where we are in the age of air. Air as in the internet. Air as in out in the open. Air as in exposed. That is the era that we live in currently, right? So we do not have... How can I say this? You do not have to use your body to make money. You don't have to do that. And I'm not even talking about it from a sexual standpoint. I'm talking about it from a standpoint of you don't have to work hard or do something to be able to get money. Do you understand that you have creative and witty inventions in your very being? Meaning that you yourself, according to Proverbs 8 and 12, are a walking gift. But the thing is that if you don't tap into those gifts or that gift does not make room for you. So there is nothing, right? There is nothing. So you put a cap on yourself when you lack understanding of yourself. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. When you feel like you constantly have to do something, you find your identity in doing, which is why when people meet you and they say, tell me about yourself, and the first thing that you say, I'm a lawyer, or I'm a mom, or I'm this. I asked you to tell me about yourself. I didn't ask you what you do and what roles are assigned to you in this life. I didn't ask you that. So how did you hear that from what I said? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes. How did you hear that from what I said? Programming. I did a live yesterday, and that live yesterday was fire. I talked about how the game, you know, that old saying, the game is to be sold, not to be told. And I explained how any game, the rap game, the corporate game, the music game, whatever, all game has two elements to it: to be sold and to be told. Normally when they sell, whatever they selling you is really not what they telling you, which is why you have to watch it twice. With double lies. The first time you watch it, see what they was trying to evoke from you emotionally. Then pay attention to the narrative that they telling you with the energetics. You're going to find out what the real agenda is. You got to be able to see beyond the illusion. That's one of my gifts. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these comments. It's one of my gifts. But you got to be able to see through these illusions. There's a lot of illusions. They lie a lot. A whole lot, okay? So you don't want your revenue to be tied to you consistently having to do things. You want to be paid to exist, which is why I created things like Monetize Like a Muse, where I teach you how to sell where you're not selling your soul. Because you can sell without selling your soul, without compromising who you are. I have built a multi-six-figure business from authentically being myself. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Like, I won't fold on that. I'm not interested in folding on that. You don't have to alter your character. I prefer to stand on solid ground. That just works best for me, right? That's what's honorable to me. And because of that, I follow the aligned monetization path for me, and I get paid for that. I get paid for my gift of wisdom. I get paid for my gift of me willing to sit in scripture. And the hours I sit dissecting scripture, understanding that it's a code, that if you activate, you know how to create the life you desire. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have issue. That doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. But what it does mean is that you know how to maneuver in this reality without being a slave. Most people are in bondage with themselves. And it's all due to piss poor programming, okay? And all this faux pressure that's not even real. All right? So let's talk about the pressure-based growth when it comes down to life in general, right? Rest feels like falling behind. Even with all the crap that they put out here about self-care, and that they've been putting out since about 2019 when we went into the house, which allows self-care to go from being a standard to being a regiment, an external regiment of things that you do. Going to get your nails done, going to get massages, going on vacation, going to get facials. And when you get home, you're still crying in the shower. Don't piss me off. Understand that society likes to keep you in bondage and keep you in a form of slavery. Self-care, and let me tell you what I've always said, because I entered my business as a self-care coach. So I ain't telling you nothing I'm new to. I'm telling you what I'm true to. I'm telling you as a person who has practiced, who has seen the benefit of spiritual self-care, mental self-care, emotional self-care, physical self-care, financial self-care, and social self-care. I'm telling you how that's understanding that system and practicing that literally supported me in losing 100 pounds. I'm telling you that me understanding that on the depths of understanding what self-care truly is supported me in creating a multi-six-figure business without exhausting myself for oblivion. Like, they been lying. You going to get your nails done and going to do all and still crying. You know why you're still crying? You know why? Go and get your friend, go and get her nails done and has 3 children that are stair steps, that's always calling her mom and that she doesn't get a break. Yeah, going to get her nails done is a relaxing scenario for her. Thank you, my love. It's a relaxing scenario because ain't nobody calling her mama. Ain't nobody looking for her. She just get to be herself and get her nails done. You are single. You live alone. Okay? Going to get your nails done is not going to be self-care for you. True self-care is care that penetrates the soul, sweetheart. See, it's an interchange. It's an inner elevation with an outer radiation. Get into it. Inner elevation, outer radiation. Some of y'all put on so much glow and your inner glow still ain't coming through. Some of y'all put so much makeup glow on and your inner glow, you still looking gray. You still looking dead. You can't mask it, sweetheart. It got to be an inner elevation because that's what brings forth the outer radiation. The outer radiation, according to the law of radiation, what you radiate within other people is going to radiate out, and other people are going to be sold. This is why your magnetism goes up 10,000 when you really start doing that work. It really starts doing that work. This is what you have to understand. If you have to work harder to maintain results, then you haven't built growth. You literally built dependency. This is depending on me showing up. This is depending on this. This is depending if I post. This is this. It was that. Like, no. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Like, come on now. Do you really believe that the creator of all things sent you here to work, pay bills, be exhausted, and die? Do you think that that's supposed to be your reality? I don't think so. I would hope that you wouldn't think so little of yourself. So let's talk about what this is costing you to be in this state of consistent hustle. Number one, emotionally, it's costing you consistent low-grade anxiety and no deep satisfaction. You always in the you're always in a fear-mongering state. Let's talk about the physical. Your nervous system is wired consistently always just to be up and down. And I talked about this yesterday. To be up and down and to be urgent. Everything is a rush. Everything is this. I got to do this. I got to do that. When a woman says that the reason that she came out of her house looking any kind of way, and it wasn't an emergency, right? And she says that she didn't have time to take care of herself. She didn't have time to put herself together. She didn't have time to do that. What you're showing and what message that you're sending, and before anybody hops in my inbox and my comments talking about some men try to talk to me when I have on this and I don't have on this and I get on my bed nothing, I look a mess and men always try to talk to me. Most men like anything with a warm hole. Okay? It's not a flex. What you need to understand is that in the conversations that I have with men all the time and colleagues and different things, of when they see you position yourself like that, what they see is that you just basically got out of bed and you ready to go back. What that says is you're taking care of everybody else and everything else and not yourself. And as a narcissist, I like that. That's what you're saying. That's the messaging that you're sending out. That's not the message that I'm. Yes, it is. Don't you understand that your body is a temple? Don't you understand that you are walking worship? What does your worship look like? Do you understand that a temple brings forth a message, a vessel? Like what message are you sending then? What message are you sending? Because when you walk out the house, sweetheart, you are activating the senses, and one of the first things is sight. So let me know what it is that you want us to grasp from what you're saying with your temple. So that's what it looks like. I don't have time to... It's not making sense. It's not making sense. I just want it to make sense. Because I hear so many women flex with that too and be like, well, a man tries to... I'd be... Child. Do you read the news? And what a lot of the... people will lay down with animals. There are stories. Y'all didn't hear what happened last... What was it, Thanksgiving? Folks was laying with the turkeys. What do you mean? That is not a... I don't know. But you should always have time to rest, and you should always have time to rejuvenate. Rejuvenate as in yourself. You should always have time to rest, and you should always have time to rejuvenate. Society tells you that you don't have time for that because they thrive on you being a slave and being a mess. They make money off you being a mess and being a slave because eventually you're going to get sick. And we know. Big Pharma like it when you're sick, babe. Why do they like it when you're sick? I don't know, but I do think it's quite interesting that we have farm and then we have a word called pharmakia. And I think you should go and look up pharmakia. I think you should. I think you should go look it up. I think you should know the origin. I think so. I think that would be wise. I'm just trying to tell you something without telling you something. They're going to ban me if I say it on here, but I think you should go look that up. I definitely do. So you're going to learn a lot. Okay? So now, let's go ahead and get back into it. Relational. Disconnection from the people you love. When you're trying to hustle and be out there and be everything for everyone, you leave nothing for the people who are assigned to you. Point blank, period, the end. Financial. Your revenue peaks, but you never feel secure. You never feel secure. Never. You might make money, but you never feel safe. which is why you can't hold the money, and when you don't feel safe, you can't keep the money. And let's talk about spiritual. You have no space for vision. Survival dressed up as success. A lot of you just have the goal of being able to make money, but then what? Then what? It does. Somebody found what pharmakia meant and put it in the comments. Dun 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 dun. I love classical music. So this is why they enjoy you being sick. Because then they get to... Yep. That's it. True rest isn't absent of work. It's the presence of peace while you work. It's the presence of peace while you work. That's so cute. Pharmaceutical companies, pharmakia, it's just so interesting. Really is. I'm just saying, it's a very interesting time. But let's talk about the difference between hustle and rhythm. Okay? Let's get into it. Very much so. They don't want to talk about the corporations, though. Let's talk about the contrast in business, intimacy, income, life, and all of those great things when it comes down to hustle versus rhythm. The hustle looks like you launching, always starting from zero. The rhythm looks like you having systems, you having offers that keep selling even when you may rest. We as women should not be working like men because we have two clocks. We have a sun clock and we have a moon clock. And our moon clock is our cycle clock. Thank you, my love. And, when you're not in tune with your moon clock, that disconnects you from your emotions. And that means that you're probably emotionally dysregulated, and it probably shows in how you work, in your relationships, and how you handle conflict, and even more. The Most High allowed us to see it. I'm blessed. Yes. Seeking ye shall find. That's what I say. It's a lot of... I was going to say one day I'm going to come on here and expose all the lies, but I can't do that. They're going to ban me. But in my communities, I will. But, yeah. When it comes down to, like I said, systems, when it comes down to your business, being in rhythm looks like systems and offers that literally keep selling while you're resting. When you are, during that time frame of the month when you are resting, sales can still be coming in if you know how to work those other phases of your cycle properly. You should not be hustling on your cycle. That's not meant for that. It's really not. That's when you even go back to scripture, when women were on their cycle, they were in solitude. Not because they were being punished, not because of anything, but because they were physically releasing, and that is a time for women to spiritually release the things that don't belong, mentally release the things that don't belong, emotionally release the things that don't belong, because you're already releasing these things physically, right? And when you're releasing all of these things month to month to month, guess what you're not doing? Carrying trauma in the body month to month to month. I want you to think about all the years that you have not been releasing. Every month, you have not been releasing, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, the things that don't belong. And then we wonder why we get blocked physically and we stop releasing physically. We wonder why we stop releasing physically when we were never releasing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, the way we should monthly. Connection there, okay? Suppressing emotions cause illnesses, by the way. It ruins and wreaks havoc on your womb. This is coming from someone who used to have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Keyword used to. This is coming from someone who had a 21-year issue with blood with an irregular cycle. Who's 41 and now my cycle comes consistently. And it doesn't come for long. The key is rhythm, not hustle. Hustle throws you out of rhythm. Hustle throws you out of balance. Hustle steals from you. Okay? So let's talk about the hustle when it comes down to intimacy. That looks like treating a connection like it's a task or running on empty. I am not a fan of showing up for people when I am exhausted. Yes, I started to develop autoimmune issues through disregarding my emotions. Definitely happens. when you start being in a space, I'm not a person that is a fan of showing up for people when I'm exhausted. I'm not a fan of showing up for people when I'm sick just to be in the name of being a good friend or a good Christian or any of that other crap that you want to tell yourself. The people in your life deserve your best, but most importantly, you deserve to be at your best. So why would you try to push being outside or when you're running on empty? Why would you do that? Why would you answer the phone when as soon as you see their name, you're going to be like, hey, girl, like, why are we even doing that? You're not effective or efficient in those experiences anyway if you operate that way. So why not show up to the fullness of yourself? The hustle says you're treating everything like a task. I got to go here. I got to go to this her birthday party. You're not even present for her party. See, again, you time traveling. You focused on the future. You thinking about what you got to do. You ain't even being a good friend in this moment. Y'all so fake. Real life fake. And then be getting mad when you get the same energy back because you really believe you are a good person. It's the lies we tell ourselves for me. It's the lies we tell ourselves for me. You are not a good person because a good person would take care of themselves first because it literally tells you in scripture that you're violating. To love your neighbor as you love yourself. How about take care of yourself first and then you can take care of your friends later? But no, I must make sure for me. And then you selfish if you want somebody. You're self-centered and you think that you are the sun in other people's universe. If you expect people to show up for you just because you would dog yourself out, you want them to dog themselves out too just to be with you. That's your fault, not theirs. And you need to wake up. You need to wake up. You are the only sun in your own universe. And sounds like you ain't the sun in your own universe. You put everybody who come into the space into the sunspots. And you become the moon, which is why you always in your feelings. Because the moon controls the water tide and emotions are water. So if you was wondering why, there you go. Merry Christmas. Because you're not grasping that you cannot do that and expect people to show up full for you when you're showing up on fumes for them. You're caught up in the fact that you're showing up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you showed up. It ain't what you do, it's how you do things. It's how you show up. Ain't nobody, and if you don't believe me, I dare you to debate me in the comments, and I don't even debate, but I'm finna knock the debate off with this one thing. Imagine going on a date with a man and you're sitting across the table from him. We're going to act like my phone isn't here, okay? Grow up. Follow me. We're going to act like you're on a date with a man and I'm going to pretend to be him. And imagine you talking to him and he's just doing this. He's just doing this. He's doing this. He's doing this. He's doing this. Huh? Oh. What'd you say? Yeah, I'm listening. Oh, I just got to get this done. I mean, at least I showed up. I mean, please stop complaining. At least I'm here. Do we care about them being there if they ain't paying attention? No, we don't. Do we care that they're there if they're not? I don't have it. No, we don't. So stop being fake. Stop being fake. Because that's what you do. I showed up. And then don't let nothing happen. Don't let nothing happen. Then you want to be childish and be like, I showed up for you when I was sick. And whose fault was that, Barbara? Whose fault was that, Barbara? While you were trying to build an image of being a good friend, a good Christian, a good person, it was revealed that you are not a good person to yourself. So what? These are the things that you really have to pay attention to. You cannot treat people like that. You cannot treat yourself like that. You will be treated like that. Real simple. Being in rhythm looks like you being or bringing full presence because you're replenished. See, when you rejuvenate yourself, you're replenished. And when you replenish, then you can show up. It's a rewarding experience for you to show up because you're replenished. And when you leave, you can do it all over again. You can rejuvenate yourself so you can be replenished for the next experience. Real simple, real easy. Let's talk about the contrast between the hustle and the rhythm when it comes down to your income. When it comes down to income, especially business owners, you're chasing every single person that, or every lead, and over delivering to earn your rate. This is for the people in the back that want to give out 100 documents for $26. Please stop. This is for the people in the back who are charging $200 for a service that is easy $2,500. Don't make me mad. Easy work. But you want to over deliver and give them all this stuff to show that you're, what I say, you still under the humiliation process of an interview at corporate. Let me go back to the humiliation process that they take you through when you interview for a corporate position. When you interview for a corporate position, it positions you to step into a faux identity, your ego. And anytime that you go into a space, the reason why I'm saying you're operating from your ego and it's a humiliation experience or process is because you have it in your mind that you're not good enough. So you show up as somebody else trying to prove, trying to impress, and trying to defend your character and all these different type of things to these people who do not know you. So here you are trying to over-deliver and oversell yourself so that people can experience you. And it's all because you don't realize that you are a first-class experience yourself. Because see, had you realized that, had you got in the frequency of that, you would learn that people would pay top dollar to experience first class. Every single time. So meanwhile, where they could be offering you, we see your value, we want to give you this. You just gonna take whatever it is that they give you. Because you too busy trying to prove yourself. Again, anytime you're operating from your ego, you literally, like Deepak Chopra said, you are edging God out. You are disconnecting from your spiritual core in order to please people, into approving and accepting you. And you want to tell me that's not a humiliation process? Where it literally tells you in scripture that the Most High says that I call you, then I qualify you? Like, don't even get on my nerves. And you got to meet the qualifications to get a call? Oh, okay. Go off, though. I don't care. I mean, hey, it's your life. I'm just here doing what the Most High, I'm just doing my assignment. I'm just here to tell you. What you choose to do with it is on you. Now, we talking about rhythm. Instead of having the mindset of chasing every lead and over-delivering, we're talking about you speaking truth that resonates and align clients coming to you without pushing, rates holding with ease. If you say it's $2,500, people can see the value in that because they see the results. They feel the energy behind it. They resonate. This is what they have been looking for. Very important and very vital. When it comes down to life, here's the hustle. No stillness. Every moment is booked. You just can't sit down. Okay? So, rhythm, it looks like space to breathe, mornings without urgency. Because I'm going to tell you something. The hustle might build it. I'm just going to keep it real with you. The hustle might build it. But the rhythm is the only way that you're going to be able to keep it. You need to get systematic in order to scale. Eventually, who came to this earth to work really hard? Why y'all working so hard in business? Why y'all not making it to where you're slowly pulling yourself out of the business? See, again, now you're making the business your identity. See, now we got another problem. Here we go. Then when the business fails, you're a failure because you made the business your identity. Here we go again. Back at it again. Back at it again. It has to stop. It has to stop. This is why the hustle doesn't feel good anymore. Now I'm about to tell you how, okay, because I'm going to give you this framework, tell you how to keep growing without grinding yourself into the ground. Because you don't have to do that. So I'm sick of us getting on your nerves. I'm sick of it too. Because I want us to come out of this. So let's get into the sustainable growth framework, right? That I developed, that I work, and that we go through in the Muse Activator program, which is my 8-week program, okay? Number one, step one, you're going to have to reset your nervous system. Point blank, period, the end. Stabilize so that growth feels safe. You cannot create a product and say, this is a product I'm creating that's $197, and you start talking about it, right? You start talking about it. And when you start talking about it, what ends up happening is that people start buying in. And people buy in so fast that your website crashes. Why? Because you didn't make sure your foundation of how you were going to receive things, right, was stable. Now a lot of people are saying things like, oh my God, I can't get through, yada, 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 yada. Okay? These are the things that you got to really think about. So you want to stabilize and set up your systems so that you can receive. Okay? The feminine is comfortable receiving when the foundation is solid. This is why you are saying things like, I want to be in my feminine when I'm with a man, da 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 da. What you're saying is you need the stability to be able to flourish. What you have to understand is that a man is not responsible for initially providing that stability. You are to first become a stable foundation yourself, and then people come into that space and add value. They build on top of what you already have. You already got a foundation. You already got a standard. So we got a starting point. A lot of you don't have starting points, and that's the problem. You don't have starting points. So number one, reset your nervous system. Stabilize so that growth feels safe. In the constant urgency, make decisions from calm and trust yourself. Okay? Trust what the Most High is giving you. Trust the voice within you. Trust the kingdom within you. Instead of chasing validation, it's going to resonate with who it's supposed to resonate with. Stop expecting people to understand you and feel you. Forget all that. Forget all of that. Let that part of you die. Because it's not necessary. Okay? It's not necessary at all. And this is something that we go over. So if I was to use this example when it comes down to resetting your nervous system in business and intimacy and income, I would say stop the reactive pivots. Oh my God, the world is changing. Let me change my business to this so you can keep up. Stop doing that. Calm your nervous system. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all done grew up in church your whole life and y'all done knew a bunch of crazy stuff was going to happen. The problem is you didn't think you was going to be here for it, but guess what? You here. What you finna do? Cry? Complain? Or change your life? Which one? Which one are you wanting to do? When it comes down to stabilizing your nervous system in the area of intimacy, be present without being drained. If you're going to be drained, don't be present. You have to pick one. Pick a side. Pick a side. Do you hear me? And stick to it. And be willing to down the hill. Either you're going to show up drained in relationships and in your friendships and you're going to get what you're going to get, or you're going to show up present. But you can't do both. It's a detriment to you and it's a detriment to the relationship, because eventually it's going to be an issue. Because who, again, wants to go out with somebody who is constantly doing this? You don't even care if it's your kid. You're going to have an issue with that. If you're out with someone and they constantly doing this, you're going to have an issue because they're not present. They're not attentive in the moment. That means their nervous system is not stabilized. They're focused on something else. Okay? Step one, when it comes down to intimacy, make money moves from clarity, not panic. Anytime you're in panic mode, you should not be making no type of decision. That means you're about to make a decision from your ego, trying to impress, prove, or defend, and you about to play the piss out yourself. Stop. Stop while you're ahead. Okay? When it comes down to life, it looks like rest without guilt. You are not lazy for resting. And these are the things that we go over in week 1 in the emotional regulation and nervous system safety part of the Muse Activator. Okay, so step 2 for a sustainable growth framework is going to be build soft structures. Yes, you need a foundation as a woman. You don't have to build a foundation like a man. Okay, you don't have to do that. That's why I said soft structures. But you will not build structures on quicksand, like your boundaries. Okay, we're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. We're letting that die. Okay, so we're going to create systems that sustain momentum, right? Without you having to be on 24/7, right? You want to align work and life rhythms, okay? So that they support your energy instead of draining your energy. I'm a big fan of work should be centered. Life should be. How can I want to say this correctly? Because I feel like I'm going to say this wrong. Life should not be centered around work. Work should be centered around life. So this means that your work is a part of your life. Your work is not your life. And this is what you have to understand and be very, very clear on, okay? So in business, or let's just say in intimacy, it looks like predictability, it looks like protected connection time. When you know that you are in business and you understand that you are married or you are in a very healthy, serious relationship, right? Or connection or covenant. When you know that you have that, it's important to implement things like weekly date nights or protected connection time that don't involve your children, that don't involve work, that don't involve your phone, that don't involve these things. That is a structure. That is called a soft structure. To implement something as small as we have date nights every Friday. That is soft structure, guys. And you're getting what you want. Nobody's it's soft structure. If you make that a standard, right? If it's a standard in your life right now that every Thursday you have a solo date, and that is something that you do not shift and you do not change, you are training the people that come into your life that they have to schedule time with you and they have to be consistent with scheduling time. Why? Because you set the standard. You have to have a standard. You have to have a structure. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be soft. A soft structure that I have in my life is that I only go on dates with men on Thursdays. I talked about this yesterday. That is a soft structure in my life. If you want to date me, you better catch me on that Thursday. And if you don't let me know by a certain day that you would like to see me on Thursday, I don't care if you call me with tickets to see my favorite artist in the world on Wednesday morning. I'm not going because Thursday is the day. Unless we together already, and I like spontaneity here and there, Thursday is the day. Okay? And I don't shift from that. And I don't care if you don't like it. And I don't care if you say that you're going to go out with somebody else. I promise you, I'm still going to be good when Thursday comes. I am the sun in my universe. Me. The Most High is the entire, okay? In the entire atmosphere. But I am the sun in my universe. I am the focus. I am the priority. Understand? So when I talk about predictability and I talk about, protecting connection time when it comes down to soft systems, that's what I'm speaking of. Okay? So protect yourself. In life, that looks like boundaried schedules with having some white space, having time where you do nothing. That's very, very important. And these are things that we go over in week 6 of the Muse Activator, which is what we'll be talking about tonight. So I'm super, super excited. So building soft structures is going to be number 2. Number 3 is going to be leading from your essence and not your effort. Okay? Influence coming from who you are. All right? I was just about to ask. Look, that's one of the beautiful ladies that's in the Muse Activator right now that I love. Influence from who you are, not how much you do or not what you do. Leading from your essence is to speak truth, and truth understands that it doesn't have to be debated. It doesn't have to be argued. All right, love you, bye-bye. It doesn't have to be debated, any of these things. Truth either resonates with you or it doesn't, and that's okay. That's okay. And I think women really have to be okay with that. So you got to drop the performance and hold your standards and let your presence do the work. My price point is $10,000. You see how I didn't flinch? You see how I didn't get nervous? You see how I didn't do this? If I say that that is my price point, then that is my price point. I'm standing in that truth. And if that $10,000 doesn't resonate with you, then it's going to be a no for you. And I'm okay with it being a no for you. But it's not a no for everyone. It's a yes for someone. I recently just got a yes from someone for one. So you can't be afraid of no. You can't be afraid of no. Okay? So drop the performance, hold your standards, and let your presence do the work. All right? In business, this looks like authority that attracts without chasing. In intimacy, it looks like magnetism through self-possession. See, women will use terms like, I want him to be obsessed with me. I want to, want him to possess me. I want this. How about taking possession over yourself? When you take possession over yourself, meaning that you focus the time, the energy, the attention, and the money, and you pour it into yourself, and it reflects and it shows and you radiate and all these amazing things, people will automatically be obsessed. And that can be a really good thing, in boosting your ego, but that also can be a really bad thing. Because obsession is not the thing that you really want, to be honest. So when you are self-possessed and focused on yourself, you automatically become magnetic. And people are obsessed with what you're doing, what you're wearing, da-da-da-da. If you don't believe me, then why are people so obsessed with celebrity culture and influencer culture? What is she wearing? Where did she get this? How can I get this? Yada-da-da. All of these things are obsession. It's just different levels of obsession. But it's obsession. Okay? So, like I said, in intimacy, that's what that looks like. Magnetism through self-possession. When you possess yourself, nobody else can possess you. Which means that you seal the portal, you seal the areas and the leaks. So demonic possession doesn't even happen too. See, we're not talking about that. The demonic influence. We ain't talking about that. Yeah. That doesn't get access as well. How can it possess you when you are in possession of you? And being in possession of you falls into the category of you being in dominion, because in order for you to have dominion on this earth, one has to have dominion over self, which means one has to possess self. Be in control of self. And self-control is the fruit of the spirit. So if you are in control of self, then nothing, and I do mean nothing, can control you. Okay? So that's what it looks like to lead from essence and not effort in the area of intimacy. So when it comes down to income, that looks like premium pricing held without justification. If your price point, like I said, if it's $20,000, notice how I didn't flinch. If it's $50,000, notice how I didn't flinch. Stand in the value of that. A lot of you don't need to make more money. You need to position yourself to receive more money. And the way you position yourself to receive more money is to stand in your value. Notice I didn't say defend. Notice I didn't say prove. Notice I didn't say impress. I said stand. Don't blink. Don't flinch. None of that. Just like that. Okay? When it comes down to life, leading with your essence looks like walking into any room. And I do mean any room. Anchored, not overcompensating. I don't care if everyone else in the room makes so much more money than you. I don't care if everyone in the room is rich and famous. I don't care if everyone in the room is someone who has something over you. You walk into the room being very clear of who you are. You guys have heard me say this before. I don't care what celebrity they put in the room, who is in the room. I guarantee you, I'm going to pull someone in that room into my energy. And I'm not even speaking romantically. And I probably won't even have to say a word before I pull them into my space, because I know how to activate the senses, because I understand the power of myself, the power within myself. According to Luke 17:21, I have the kingdom of heaven within me. I have a natural radiating light if I would just simply activate it and tap into it. And I would be anchored in that identity, and I wouldn't have to prove myself in the room. Even if I was in the room with Beyonce, whoever, I wouldn't have to prove or compensate anything. I would simply have to be present and be myself. And being in that position will always position me to receive what it is that I'm supposed to receive from that room. Because one of the affirmations that I have is that any room that I walk into, I am there to receive something. And I always receive something. Okay? And this is something that we go over and talk about in the embodied identity and feminine posture section of week 3 of the Muse Activator. Okay? So with everything that I've told you today about the hustle and how, it just doesn't seem like it's worth it anymore, and taught you the sustainability framework that supports you in being able to grow without grinding yourself into the ground, I want you to ask yourself these questions. If you were to stop pushing so hard for 90 days, would your life expand or collapse? If you didn't prove or try to impress or try to defend, would your life expand or would it collapse? And you don't have to answer this in the comments, but I just want you to know for yourself. I also want you to ask yourself, do you actually want more? Do you really want more? Or do you want to feel better about what you already have? The last question that I'm going to ask you is, if your body could choose your price, right? What would change immediately? What would change immediately? Let those things sizzle. Okay? Now, this is what I'll tell you because I have to get ready to go. If you're ready to stop growing through grind and start expanding through rhythm, then the Muse Activator is where you can come and do that. And the Muse Activator next cohort is going to start on August the 31st. It is $2,000 to join the program. It is 8 weeks. You get Telegram community. You also get meetings every single Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we have our curriculum that we go through that takes you through these stages and that supports you in activating your inner muse. Because why is it so important for you to activate your inner muse? And you can get the program with Klarna, Firm, and Afterpay also, and then it's $500 to hold your spot if you want to do it that way. But why is it so important for you to activate your inner muse? It's really important because I believe that women are muses. A muse, by definition, is a source of inspiration. And sources of inspiration are walking art, right? And so a woman is walking art. And that's why I say when your body's a temple, you're a vessel, house of worship, all these things, are you inspiring? Because that's what a muse is. A muse is a source of inspiration. So what are you inspiring people to say to you? What are you inspiring people to do in regard to you and for you? What are you inspiring? Or what is a muse that's activated really inspire? Number one, she inspires investment. Well, invest. People to invest. Corporations to invest. Or invest in what ways? Number one, investigate. Because you are that alluring, that magnetic, that mesmerizing that I have to know who you are. I have to know more about you. And if you don't believe me, y'all do this all the time. Even when it comes down to being on social media, you may see someone and say, okay, oh my God, she said something, or she has something. I need to look and see and find out more about her. The first thing that a muse inspires is investigation. So once they are done investigating, if they are still inspired, if you have made such an impression within that inspiration, they want to make investments at that point. Well, what kind of investment? What does this look like? And understand everything I'm telling you can use in business life and in relationships. So when we're talking about investments, they start investing their time. So now they're watching your content. They're watching your content for hours. Okay? They're focusing their attention on your content, which wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. So you're getting a 3-tier, top-tier currency right there. Investment. Their time, their energy, their attention. When you have someone's time, energy, and attention for a long period of time, eventually they invest their money. Okay? They invest their money. When they see that it's been a good value for them to give you their time, their energy, and their attention, they eventually give you their money. Okay? And this is something that you really have to pay attention to, because that is really, really powerful and really, really important. So we are in this stage, in the age of where investments are happening overnight. Inspiration is getting your bills paid triple scale on a whole nother level. So if you've not activated your inner muse and you're still trying to do things or perform to get paid, you're going to find yourself in a pickle. You're going to find yourself with a problem. So this is why it's really important to come into the Muse Activator, the 8 weeks to stabilize your nervous system, reclaim your presence, and build rhythm that actually will hold your next level without costing you your health, without costing you relationships, or without costing you peace. Okay? Week 1 will have you alone. Week 1, the Muse codes alone is going to open up a portal for you. Week 1 alone will have you breathing again because you finally understand your nervous system. Week 3 is going to shift your leadership forever. Week 5, which is really week 6 now, but week 6 will give you the soft structures necessary, okay, to sustain your growth with ease. And enrollment is now. So if you're interested in that, you click the link in the bio. If you're interested in coming into the program with client affirm and afterpay, if you're interested in coming into the program with paying your $500 deposit to start, to get your contract and to get your Muse codes and everything going, you would have to DM me the word start. Okay? When you DM me the word start, I will send you the link. You take care of the link. You're going to get your contract. Once you get your contract, you set up your one-on-one with me. Once you have your one-on-one with me, you're going to start getting your Muse codes, which is your initiation process before activation. And then we're going to get started. Okay? So click the link in the bio or DM me for that. If you're not ready for the Muse Activator, but you know you need to be in community, you know you need recalibration, you know you need a center to come into, then my strong recommendation would be the Sacred Feminine League. The Sacred Feminine League it's not a hustle hub. I wouldn't even say it's a coaching membership. It's literally a feminine container. It is literally a feminine container, okay? Or a feminine center, all right? It's where you come to be held, not hurried. It's where you come to reconnect with your feminine power, not to perform for it. It's where emotional rhythm, how can I say this, rules your leadership, okay? Every month in the Sacred Feminine League, you get bi-weekly live mentorship gatherings. You get weekly communication in our Telegram group that I love. You get a private vault of videos that are dropped to you on the opposite weeks that we meet, okay? And you get priority invites into the Muse Activator. That's Faith. I absolutely love her. She is in the Sacred Feminine League. She's saying, join. I've had such growth in the past month and a half. And she has. Okay? She absolutely has. And a lot of women that tend to come into the Sacred Feminine League end up joining up into the Muse Activator at a later time. But the membership is $197. You can get it. No, you can't get those with client affirm and afterpay, but they're $197 a month. You can cancel at any time. So if you come in a month and say, you know what, this ain't for me, you can cancel. No nothing. But if you're ready to have a clean return to feminine rhythm, okay, then the Sacred Feminine League is where you begin. It's where you start. So those are my two choices when it comes down to community. If you are looking for self-study and to work on your own, but you know you need to do this work, I recommend the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint for $200, where you get the 6-course bundle that teaches you how to get a hold of yourself when it comes down to love, when it comes down to your money, and when it comes down to your relationships spiritually, okay, and how those things work. If you're focused solely on the money path and you're like, I need to not be doing what I'm doing with my money, I need to do something that's more in alignment, I'm about to lose it, there's got to be an easier way for me to be able to do business without me working so hard, then you want to get the Monetize Like a Muse. Monetize Like a Muse is $997. You get that with client affirm and afterpay. You get coaching with me. You get Telegram coaching for sure, specifically for about 10 days, and then we do a 30-day follow-up, because you get the course that teaches you how to sell without selling your soul, how to be able to make money without energetically burning yourself out or exhausting yourself to oblivion. I teach you all the formulas and everything that I did to be able to build my multi-6-figure business, and how I've been able to support hundreds of women in making money in the same way. So you get me live for 10 days, because I'm not just giving you Monetize Like a Muse, like, oh, do this, get this. No, you're getting the quiz that's about worth about $10,000. Is going to tell you what is the skill sets that you have to streamline to be able to support you in making anywhere between $10,000 to $100,000. Okay, it teaches you how to do it in a way that's energetically efficient. It teaches you in a way to be able to how to package it, and then you have your one-on-one session with me, and we put everything together. I work with you specifically over the next 3 days to get exactly what that offer is going to be. In the next 7 days, we're positioning ourselves to be able to receive and making sure we have everything in order from systems and everything. So when you're going out there, and then I'm checking back with you on day 30, you can report back to me how things are going, what we need to tweak, where our numbers are looking when it comes down to money, all these different type of things. So that's what you get when you come with Monetize Like a Muse. I absolutely love that program. It's that quiz is chef's kiss, because it's going to get you right. Okay, it's going to get you absolutely right. So what questions do you guys have for me, because I have to hear to get off here? What questions do you have? And then also you can click the link in the bio. If you love to read, you can sign up for my Substack. I have paid members and I have members on my Substack that are free. The paid members get high-level information and things around sacred feminine power and teachings and things for the women who want to really remember, for the women who really want to be connected to their core. So you can get it for $22 a month. You can do $222 a year. You can do $250 to get the Founder Series, where I talk about seduction and why it's so important for women to understand seduction and to also understand how we are consistently seduced, because women love school, but a lot of women don't learn the lessons. And that's something that has to shift. And that is a spell, but you got to break that. So, but yeah, that's all I have for today. I told you how the hustle ain't worth it, and how to grow without grinding yourself into the ground. I hope that you use that sustainable growth framework to support you if you want to know how to implement these things and put it back, into your own life. Then come on in. Any books that recommend on sacred feminine power? To be 100% honest with you, I would start with scripture, and I would start with the women in scripture who, not just the ones they talk about all the time. Study your JLs. She was a killer. Study your Esthers, who knew how to, use her femininity. Study, start there. Start in that aspect. That's my strong recommendation, and just start building off of that. Okay? Any other questions? Hi, L. What was the third question you said to ask ourselves? Let me go back to my notes and see. If your body could choose, I said your price, but it's your pace. If your body could choose your pace, what would change immediately? What would change immediately? Okay. That was a question. I named my daughter after her. She's exactly like her. I'm not sure what you mean. Is there a way that I can watch the first half of live? I missed some things. It'll be up on YouTube probably tonight, so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You're welcome. All right, y'all, I gotta go. My sister is texting me, and we're going to go have lunch because I haven't seen her in a minute. So I'm gonna go do that. Yes, JL in the Bible. JL was powerful. Deborah was powerful. I mean, there's a multitude of them that were powerful. Miriam was powerful. Esther was powerful. It's so many of them. So many of them. They knew how to really utilize their femininity. Okay? All right, you are so welcome. All praise to the Most High. Like I said, you're going to get a lot of information and things when you come to my lives, but if you really want implementation, you're going to have to invest your time, energy, attention, and money to be able to get the process of how these things go. That's when I know it's real. My track record of helping hundreds of women is what it is for a reason. So yeah, do you offer any courses explaining the Bible or study groups? So all of my work is rooted in scripture, science, and psychology. The best bet for you to be able to get more of that type of information from me is two ways. One, for you to either subscribe to become a paid member of my Substack or to become a paid member of the Sacred Feminine League. That's where you're going to get it from. If you get the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint, you'll learn how to create your relationship with the Creator, not from fear, but from a solid foundation. And that's supporting my client and being able to the next day get like 5 new clients after that course because she really centered herself in that understanding. So the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint does have a course in there, and everything in there as well is rooted in scripture, science, rooted in scripture, backed up by science and backed up by psychology. So you'll learn about attachment styles. So if you struggle with attachment styles, that love in the nervous system that's in the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint is $200. You can get the recliner firm after pay. The love in the nervous system that's in there teaches you how to discern, and it teaches you how to detach, which supports you in getting rid of your attachment style. I ain't telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I have seen, what I've experienced, what my clients have experienced. The courses that are in that bundle, if you really are serious about doing that work, will transform you spiritually, and your perception around money, love, and all of those things, and you'll really be able to create the reality that you desire. So those are the two options with that. Okay. But the groups, the community, the best community for you to be to come into and immediately start seeing something would, like Faith said, would be the Sacred Feminine League. Faith has been in the Sacred Feminine League for a month and a half, and she said she's experienced so much transformation. Transformation is the name of my game. That's why I'm here. I'm here to transform women's lives. The women who are ready, the ones where I speak truth and it resonates to them. I am the woman that they hear repeating their prayers. So women know when it's time to come and work with me because you've already been having these conversations with God. You've already been having these conversations behind closed doors, and you're ready to actually do something about it. Okay? All right, y'all, I gotta go. So I hope that y'all have an amazing day. Click the link in the bio to get more information on how you can work with me and different things like that. And I will talk to y'all soon. Peace, y'all.